Welcome back to the FACEIT America's Minors. And before the break, there weren't many surprises in the NTC managed to beat Swirl Patrol, knocking them out of the competition. But we still got one more best of 3 for you tonight. And I can't wait to see what goes down because we've got a revenge rematch. It's eUnited versus NTC. Now, eUnited came out on top originally, but then they lost to NRG. Again, no surprises there. But before we get into the action, you guys at home have actually got a chance to win something. So FACEIT.com/giveaway. We're giving away around 2 million FACEIT points that you can spend on swag. And there's so many different ways to win, including following us on social and things like that. So FACEIT.com/giveaway to find out more. Maybe share some of your points with me if you win some, guys. Yeah, thanks, do me a solid. Now, a way that you can do me a solid as well is by letting us know what you think on socials using the hashtag FACEITMajor, FACEIT Minor, in fact. Getting it all.
You're getting a bit ahead of yourself.
I am getting ahead of myself. I'm just so excited about our final match of the day, and I'm excited about that giveaway and the fact that you guys at home are able to run online right now, and I'm stuck here, so I'm not going to be able to win them 2 million points, am I?
Yeah, but they can brag about it. On social media too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Get in touch. Hashtag FACEITMinor. But now we're coming up to our last best of 3 of the day. It's eUnited versus NTC. Now, eUnited fairly together, but at the same time still maybe favouring themselves as individuals rather than working for the greater good, Jacob.
Yeah, let's build up the picture. We got a team that is exceeding expectations, and we got a team that is not living up to the expectations we have. And if they sort of like meet somewhere in the middle, we should have a good match on our hands. I think it's going to be a close one. I think we are potentially going to see all 3 maps, and I think NTC is not there yet where they can convincingly beat a team that they should be beating. Whereas for eUnited, this is their chance to finally put a nail in the coffin to the NTC lineup and move into the final bracket, which would be a rather huge surprise considering the amount of teams that is here.
Yep, no, I mean, I'm pretty excited to see how this pans out, especially in terms of what kind of maps we're going to end up on. Obviously, NTC had a bit of a scare playing Mirage versus eUnited. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that goes away. If they actually have a wide enough map pool to afford to ban Mirage instead of, you know, letting map like Nuke in or anything to that effect, and that could play a potentially really big part, especially in terms of just seeing a 3rd map in general for this matchup. So, a bit worried for NTC in that sense. One of the, I guess, plus things or positive sides that we've seen out of them is that we definitely saw a better side from them in their 2nd matchup versus Swirl Patrol over the course of that best of 3 than what we saw in the 1st matchup versus eUnited. Obviously, a bit of a skill difference in terms of what kind of opposition they went up against, but I don't think it's like as or too big to the fact that you can disregard what kind of improvements we saw out of them. And just from an individual point of view, they were playing steadily better, and that's kind of what NTC have to hang their hat on at this point.
We have focused a lot on NTC and these legacy players almost, and yet eUnited has got a lot of experience under their belts individually as well. We've got an ex-Misfits player in there in Shazam as well.
Relix is currently currently playing for eUnited. He's a decent player. He was one of the leftovers from the old TSM lineup and the Misfits lineup, so he didn't really quite manage to make a big impact within the scene. He's always been around in the NA peripheral where he's been all right, but he's never really been breaking through. He kind of like took a step back, formed his own team now with eUnited, and is now the in-game leader, something he has never tried before as well. So it's sort of like a guy trying to find his path and trying to find a different road to becoming a great CSGO player and making his impact on the scene. So it's great to see that he didn't give up. It's great to see that he's still trying. And you know what we've seen from eUnited so far is a team that is playing way better than we would expect. So it seems like it's working for him, and definitely the other guys on the team as well seems to be learning from him. So overall, everyone is benefiting from him taking a little bit of a step back and now going into the 2nd tier of the NA 2nd tier scene, if you can say so.
I'm interested in this because we've got a team that's playing better than you'd expect, and then we've got NTC who are playing worse than you'd expect. Do you think that maybe this is the match where we're going to see NTC solidify and really break through Vendetta?
That's kind of what you hope for their sake, at least. If they want to have a shot at making it top 2, they kind of have to. They're not going to get through the final bracket place on Monday, really, if they keep being so up and down as they've been so far. I think there's plenty of teams that can actually pounce on that and actually punish them pretty heavily if that were to be. So yeah, they need to find their form pretty quickly, and I don't think eUnited is going to be an easy task for them to really overcome by any means. I think what you said is a really good sign. I also think the mentality that eUnited have had in their interviews, the fact that, you know, they talked about how they were boot camping, played a ton of qualifiers, didn't qualify for anything, but they feel like they're on the brink like they're on the cusp to the point where like if we just keep together, we keep working, you know, the same way we've been doing in terms of actually just getting slowly better at least, then eventually we will make it through those qualifiers. We will actually get some sort of reward for all our hard work, and I think that's a kind of a fresh approach to it, because a lot of times teams who fail to qualify for different things, or have a bit of a bump in the road if you qualify for the initial minor, then go out, you are very quick to just jump on the idea of making lineup changes. That's not necessarily always the road to riches. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how this eUnited team will actually progress, even if they aren't able to topple NTC here, if they stick together, work their way over, or work their way forward, and actually come back, for the next qualifiers.
Now, we haven't got to the vetoes just yet, but if you were in NTC, in fact, what would you be vetoing?
I mean, I would probably leave in Mirage might sound surprising to you, but if you already lost on a map like Mirage, it's fairly easy to change those mistakes that you make, or change a few rounds that you made throughout that game. Whereas if you're the winning team, you think to yourself, okay, we won, so we don't have to change anything. So it's kind of like a little bit of a sleeping pillow you get thrown into. So for NTC's meta, I wouldn't necessarily get rid of Mirage. I'll just play out the veto as per se they would have done before the tournament as well, despite the fact that they lost Mirage. So it shouldn't give them a clear disadvantage at any mean.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree with that, especially considering how the match developed as well. On Mirage, we saw eUnited getting off to such a good start, 5-0 up, winning pistol, obviously, first Byron, and etc. And it was the way they went about it. Nothing against eUnited, but there was definitely opportunities given to them by NTCs. We talked about KNG being kind of the prime suspect of giving away early opening frags for eUnited, which again opens up the map a ton for you on the T side, and that's something they were able to take advantage of. If NTC are a little bit more heads up as to how they approach the early battles within the rounds, that could turn very differently. Instead of having an NTC that constantly has to fight back, we can actually see them getting into the charge of things, control the tempo of the game, and actually put eUnited at a really, really tough spot.
Well, let's not wait any longer, because those vetoes are ready. So let's take a look at what our teams are picking and what they're banning.
Well, a little bit ahead of ourselves, but no, NTC did win 2-0 versus the
good old days, an hour ago.
NTC, they're going to go back to back to the overpass ban,
which leaves in Nuke for a potential pick if not Swole Patrol as it says on the screen, but eUnited wants to go for a punish pick right here. That could be the potential Nuke. Not sure whatever they feel comfortable on that map, and it is again, eUnited probably feels themselves, that they're a good team. They won on Mirage, so they may even think to themselves that we're the favorites. So whatever you want to risk playing Nuke against a team like NTC is not sure that's worth the risk.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if NTC are going to go back to picking Train here. Again, not the most convincing victory against Swole Patrol, but again, it's a map that they should be fairly comfortable with and have a fairly good idea of how they want to approach things, regardless of who they play versus. So that could be really interesting. Definitely don't think we're going to see the Brazilians pick Nuke on their own. They're going to go with Train, and that kind of makes sense. Again, if you're still having troubles translating what you do in practice over to official matches, at least go with what you know.
Go with what you know. It's never a bad idea.
Yeah.
Whereas for United, are they going for the punish pick or maybe even a Mirage again? I think it
could be that like double-edged sword, right? Like as you talked about, it's the kind of, it might be a bit of a trap that NTC has set up for them in that sense, because it's very true what you say. You learn so much more from a loss than you do from a win. So if they go back to it again, just shore up some very easy solvable mistakes that that NTC made in the first map, that could swing things massively. So, Mirage, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad pick nonetheless, but they're actually going to go with Inferno, so you're going to get to see something new here.
It's interesting, because that leaves up, again, gaps for the third map. It could be a Mirage potential as a deciding map, which would be interesting.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter, though, at this point. I feel like Train and Inferno are two very interesting picks for both teams. It feels like both teams are picking into their own strengths instead of thinking too much about what the other teams are good at. So both teams are showing confidence here in the video process, and it often tells you quite a story about like what you can expect from the matchups, that both teams go into this matchup thinking themselves that we're the better team. If we play our game and if we play up to our potential, we're going to win. And it always makes for interesting games when both teams have that mentality, instead of one of the teams feeling like we're the underdog, we're going to take some risk here and there. But United not showing any of that right now. They're just making sure they get the maps they want to play, and NTC getting rid of Cash despite the fine showing against the Swole Patrol leaves up for Mirage, and that's a great deciding map for both teams, I would say. I would favor it a little bit towards NTC, though.
I was actually very surprised to see that the last ban from NTC was Cash, which we've already seen that they're capable of playing, even though it wasn't necessarily like the easy start to things. They needed Phelps to kind of kick them into gear. But then, yeah, again, like consistently leaving Nuke in that might be a sign for what we can expect. You know, if they were to go further into the tournament, maybe that's like a pocket pick for them. Maybe they're trying to bait opponents into leaving Nuking as a potential third map, and they've been practicing hard on it. Could be really fun to see. But yeah, as you mentioned, we're not gonna see Nuke as our final map. It's gonna be Mirage and even ground, right, to finish it all off if we end up going to a third.
Do you think we're going to end up going to a third, Vendetta?
I'm actually kind of thinking that way. Again, I haven't seen too much of eUnited playing on Inferno, but again, I think a map like if you're already inconsistent as a team, which NTC is, Inferno can be a real hellhole. Like if you lose grip of how you actually rotate, again, they talked about communication being off. CT saw it in Inferno. If you don't communicate well, if you're too aggressive, which a lot of the Brazilian teams, you know, not necessarily do too well outside of, you know, I guess MIBR/SK, you know, in their prime. They have a tendency to be very aggressive towards the banana area, kind of lose out their entire defense there within a span of a second. It either goes really, really well or really, really bad, but it does leave anyone over towards that A-bomb side with no opportunity to actually set up for a retake. And I think that might actually come back to burn them a little bit. So I think, yeah, I'm feeling pretty hopeful for eUnited and seeing a third map.
So you think eUnited are going to win it overall?
No, I do think NTC are going to go through 2-1, but I think we're going to see a third one.
Okay, Jacob?
I think NTC is going to take this pretty convincingly, 2-0. I think we've seen them play the bad game. We've seen them play okay, and now we're going to see them play just a tiny bit better. It also gives me a little bit of hope in terms of if NTC progresses in this tournament and have to face the #1 team from the other bracket or from the other group tomorrow or on Monday, then we have to see an NTC team playing better than they did today. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for them to move on. They're going to meet a Rogue or Complexity or something along those lines, and that's a better team or a better version of eUnited. So if they can't beat them here now, then they have no doing at this minor anyway. So.
Jacob, that was the nicest thing you've said all day. NTC, convincing? What? Let's see if they can do it and prove Jacob right. I am going to side, by the way, with you, Vendetta. I'm going to call it 2-1. But actually, I'm going to say eUnited because I'm back with my boys. James and Dan, over to you. Don't sass me too much, sweethearts. I know where you are.
Wow, okay. What have we done, Chase? We've given Frankie this hosting role. I think she's
a good hire,
She's got
man.
too much power.
I like it.
It's got going to her head.
It's good.
I actually do agree with Jacob actually, because I don't know, his argument was very compelling to me, very convincing. I think we're going to see a pretty solid NTC. I think that eUnited are going to struggle to keep up with them individually, if anything else.
If they get the AWPs popping, they're all about the AWPs, man. Or maybe I'm just like biased because I just love watching the AWP focus of the team and don't pay too much attention to the riflers. I don't know. Although Phelps is so aggressive that you kind of have to pay attention. I don't know. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Bring the chance back.
I think that I think it's you kind of expect to underestimate eUnited, but they got spanked by NRG, man. So it's kind of like, all right. Maybe we can't be as high on you as we have been, like you and I personally, during the ECS season, for example. See how it kicks off. A slow start for eUnited. Excuse me.
You have asthma, James.
I do have asthma, yes, and I have been really bad at using my roid pump. So
I can find some roids if you want.
When I leave them to you, thank you. Now people are going to think you're on steroids then. Because you work out, so you kind of mess yourself up there. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying. You've just completely thrown me off. But the bomb is moving through Ivy with a player in tow, and out of pop, Phelps will be exposed, but the frag goes the way of FNX.
Yes. The bomb is on the ground, but the man advantage is handed by eUnited, and positioning is going well too, affording them all kinds of opportunities as they wrap around the bomb train and finish off the remainder of NTC. And this is a great map for NTC to start off on. We saw them with a slow start to it previously, and then they just brought it back really convincingly towards the end. I think it was, what was it, like 16-9 or something like that in the end, 16-7, something in that region when they were playing it earlier today. And that was after an awful start. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can have more confidence here. I mean, that's effectively what Pimp was saying on the desk, that he thinks that they're going to have their best game in this series. Now we'll see eUnited trying to navigate around the pistols. They don't know where they are just yet, and that's part of the... It's like playing Minesweeper. Do you ever play Minesweeper, James?
Not these days.
That's what this is. They're playing. That's what anti-ecos are. You're playing Minesweeper.
I did like a good game of Minesweeper though.
It's like clear out everything, find out what's safe, deduce what is not safe, and then find the correct approach.
These teams have only really, from what I can tell, played each other one time today. So there is distinct unfamiliarity, which may have a hand to play, as mentioned earlier on. Molotov at the back of the train, stop anybody heading towards the high ground. eUnited moving into the site, and they have eliminated most of the threats pretty swiftly, pretty concisely. Seems very well done. Phelps with his CZ looks for something. I have this skin. I called it Emerald Weapon as a reference to Final Fantasy VII.
Ew.
If anybody gets that, then give me a shout on the tweeters. You know to find me.
Was it 7 or 8 that was supposed to be like the best of like the old school?
Well, you say old school. I mean, some people would argue old school would be like 1 to 6. because I think a lot of people, like for a lot of, I think a lot of people, Final Fantasy VII was their first Final Fantasy. It was mine. Although I played through 1 and 2 on my phone, which was pretty awesome, and I'm trying to do the rest, but they keep crashing now, which upsets me. So I'd say that before 7 was one generation where people would probably say that one of those is the best of the series, and then 7 definitely up there.
Yeah, I just mean like for what is like
it was the best one for a generation. I'll say that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that was what I sort of heard. But I was playing proper RPGs back then, not the JRPGs. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I
bet you've triggered someone.
Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gates, Fallout, the originals.
I think that was the first RPG I ever played. Probably was because it was the.
Planescape.
I had no money before that, so I had no console or anything. I had a Game Gear with Alex Kidd in Wonderland, or wherever it was. Wonderland? Alex Kidd was somewhere.
How did you afford these things, James? You said you were impoverished.
Well, I had a job.
Ah.
I paid. Oh, we'll get to it in an eco round.
Okay. Yeah,
we've got Phelps making his way into Pop Dog Route.
Yeah, you have to commit, James. That wasn't. You got to commit when you. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's early days, man. It's best of 3, mate.
We'll get back to that. That's true. Ace is offering you some good opportunities there. But Chiller King, he has been doing well in his position so far today. He's been generally not challenged too much, and it's really important if you want to run an outside play that you have setups to push these players out of Pop Dog before you split onto A, because otherwise, if the CTs hold this position, it can be very difficult. You're always looking behind you. No one wants to do that. They're going for it, James. Deploy the grenades.
Off they go. Will they commit? I'm not convinced. They don't seem invested. We've got one player in the smoke. Cello may have heard him. Don't blow your whole load about getting a kill. He will get the kill. His teammates there as well. Cello with the second one. That's the bomb on the floor. 40 seconds remain, and Dazzle will be the last to fall. They don't take a single player out. That's the first buy round. They got ruined. They got ruined.
That's a big problem, isn't it? I mean, you have to. You can't. I mean, on the top level, we see that what teams do is if they're going to run a set piece dry, they'll spend enough, unless you do it super fast, where there's not enough time for there to be 2 players dug in Pop Dog. Unless you do it on a super fast timing, you have to clear out that position before you then go in through all the smokes and commit yourself onto the outside side. So I think that's the mistake there from them. Yikes. That's something that they have to fix. Ooh,
easy avoidance of the flashbang. And that's a poverty flashbang from eUnited, and they paid accordingly.
Wow.
They paid the price of the real one. Dazzle answers back in the Pop Dog position. Surely they assume that it's empty now, although sometimes you can see 2 players there. They'll make sure that no one is taking the position, but Phelps is doing exactly that, and it seems the T's have taken too long. Although, maybe they can capitalize on that. Bit has one shoulder peek too many, and his shoulder pad will get him caught.
Oh, no!
Oh, wow. I can be your hero, baby. Just jumped in front of the bullet, but that was not the president in Connector.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I would love to see that in slow motion, because didn't he just save the CT? Just completely it was saved. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Imagine if they go on to win the round now. That could be incredible. The CTs, that is. Well, we'll have to see if that's going to be the reality. FNX will be moving in from the back. And this is not an easy approach, and that's why Ace very quick to that one. So it looks like it won't amount to too much, that team kill, but that that was incredible. Oh, that looks kind of on. I guess it wasn't. I guess it was a hair off.
It was off, man. It was on and then it was off again, like a light bulb.
Oh my God! It's so the timing is nuts.
No!
Look at the timing of that. That's incredible. That's like on the millisecond. Oh, that is incredible.
That is crazy. So quickly, as NTC on Eco, how did I afford a Game Gear? I bought it from my friend. I paid for £30 and I gave him £2 a week for 15 weeks. And he didn't give it to me until I paid the whole thing off. I was like, come on, man.
Was there interest?
There was no interest.
That's nice of him, at least.
Not to charge me interest.
Yeah.
The bank of my mate didn't charge me interest.
Yeah, standard practice, isn't it?
How nice of him. FNX coming in from the back, and he could secure himself an AWP, but that reload is so long that Dapper's going to get pretty close to sort it out if a mess was to ensue, but there will be none.
£2 a week.
For 15 weeks,
for
mate.
15 weeks. Why wouldn't he, if it's the bank of your mate and he's such a good mate, why wouldn't he just give it to you after the promise?
I think there's a certain point where he's like, all right, you know, this guy's good for his £2 a week. Let me just, like, it's not like he was using it. I didn't ask because I can't ask. So I was just like, oh, you know, it would be just, that's like, these are wasted weeks.
He might as well just apply interest at that point. It's full scumbag. Let's go. Let's go all the way. Commit. Well, it's a 5-1 start here for eUnited. They're doing quite well, despite one of the hiccups that they had around Pop Dog in the previous few rounds ago. NTC, if they aren't to prove Pimp's correction predict, then they will be needing to turn this around sooner rather than later. Cello King hearing the stepping there. There's a forward smoke. How's he going to use this though? Push back in. United playing a very slow pace here.
Yes, they are. But look at what NTC have in the bank. 2 flashes and a smoke. That's about it. No mollies. Nothing to stop a push. 40 seconds remaining. Not really clear where these players might be headed. Cello's close to pop. KNG has an aggressive angle on main. Ooh, Cello taken out. And that compromises KNG's position, but he will take it back by force. Puts the smoke down to create some space for himself. Spots Ace jumping around the main position. He's all over the place, KNG, and he's delivering every single frag. And now Relic's going through the smoke. KNG misses him completely, though. And maybe there's 10 seconds on the clock here, so it can be about damage. He could even plant the bomb. Does Bit commit through the smoke? He does, stops the plant, and he should rescue the AWP as well if he can find it. Maybe he can't. 2 AKs will have to do.
That was a really good effort from KNG. You got to love it when all the timings work out. You know, you take one frag here, you reposition, peek over there. And the smoke was a really genius idea. You see it's all according to plan. Beautifully done. And a much needed round for NTC, but they have so much further to go. I mean, we saw so much damage there just eked out at the end from eUnited. It was a really good effort from them to really make that a hard victory to swallow.
So many flashbangs into the A-bomb site. The CTs can't even Molotov the Pop Dog position properly. Relic's unable to get that second kill there. Phelps is down though. Dazzled in the red. The smoke may save him. FNX forced to reposition and Moose will pick him off. 2 plays left. Now NTC on the brink of being reset again. The Molotov doesn't hit the mark, but I don't know how that's spreading. It looked like it landed in the smoke. Maybe the smoke was elevated or something, but that's unlucky for the CT side. Bit's got to find 2. He's got to find 2. He knows where 1 is now. Trying to reposition. He's looking for that second frag, but he can't quite hit the first one. Dazzle will finish off the round, leaving KNG with not a lot to do.
This is a very, very severe reset. They got nothing in the bank. Bank is empty. The piggy bank's been smashed. All they have to say for themselves is lint everywhere. That's all they got in that piggy bank. This is going to be a tough comeback because eUnited are going to be well on the way to 8 rounds really before NTC can have anything to really contest them with. So, eUnited, not too shabby so far. They've approached this game with a very solid degree of focus. And so far it's working well for them. Their money now has a great chance to build. It's in a decent spot at this point. We get the force buy from NTC. So eUnited must make sure that this goes smoothly. They do not want to lose any money. They do not want to lose anything at all. This just has to go smoothly to make it impossibly hard for NTC to come back into this game. They're in a very strong position to make things just more challenging for NTC. It would be a shame to see that wasted. So let's see how this approaches for the anti-force buy. Just passive so far, just trying not to be susceptible to early aggression. And Dazzle doing the dance of the loaf man.
Loaves. Got B strats, perhaps. Thorough clean out of the pop dog position. And now what? Messieurs of eUnited. Heading towards the B bomb site where 3 players lie in wait. And I think at this point you want enough time to eliminate some players without having pressure to plant the bomb. And they've got exactly that. 30 seconds on the clock. 2 of the frags made now. 2 players at the back and the bomb will start to go down. There is a rotation coming in from FNX. He'll likely be heard by Moose. Or maybe not. Ooh. That is, from FNX's perspective, that's one of those frustrating things where you've got to jump on somebody, but they move just as you're about to fire. Yeah. And then you don't kill them, and then who knows what the hell happens after that. It's irritating, but what can you do? Such is life. And life sucks on train for NTC at present because they still can't buy, and it's 2-7. Worst hand in poker.
2-7 off, to be specific, James.
Okay, nerd.
Yes. Dapper's out there. 80 does it against these pistol players. He's ecoing players, he's saving players. There we go. Easy does it.
Drill them.
8-2.
Drill them. Pad them stats.
Guns back out. Can NTC bring themselves back? It's starting to get really out of hand, isn't it? 2 AWPs though, Phelps and KNG. Let's see some magic. Let's see some Brazilian magic here on the server with those AWPs. Aggression there towards the long position. We saw that a lot from them earlier today on train. Here it continues. Looking away from the flash. Oh, that's quite the whiff there. Kenji gets a second chance of it, though, as FNX does a great job in support with the rifle. It all works out fairly well, but same can't be said around Pop Dog. That's where the initiative is taken in response, and it works for eUnited to not even things up, but at least take down somebody.
I'm watching the reposition of NTC. KNG's gone to Old Bomb to have an angle on Pop. Phelps is heading towards the spool position, and Pop Dog has now been smoked off by KNG. Goes back towards Ivy as FNX rotates towards B. So the response is KNG to keep an eye on main while the smoke is down on Pop. Everybody else to pretty much be in the B bomb site. They're planning for a worst case scenario. But as time continues to tick, what will the play be? Dazzle's preparing for an A play, and the bomb carrier is offering a fake towards the B bomb site, which is almost pulling KNG out of position. But if he can control this IV area, it will be hard for eUnited to plant the bomb. Slowly creeping in as Dazzle looks away, and KNG might have the angle, but he does not have the frag.
Dazzle playing with the ladders, trying to get an engagement that works for him, getting information as he does so as well. 30 seconds, bomb in the open. Ace, oh, there's the flick. Has no idea where he's being shot from. Down to 16 health. He's lucky to be alive. Can he get a kill out of it as well? Might see some feet soon, but that's the end of him, I think, as it is also the end for his teammate. Dazzle's dead, and that's the round for NTC. Very, very needed round. They survive for 4 players too, so that's really ideal, and they have 2 AKs now to back up the AWPs. So this is where life could get a little bit nice for NTC, but they've got a few more buys to cut through.
Sounds like your debut album, Dan.
A little bit nice.
A little bit nice. 3 players moving through connector for the CT side. Ace goes beyond the angle. He goes to the stop sign position, but he can't stop the CTs. KNG will take him out. KNG continues to be a big problem with this AWP, despite the fact it is 3-8 in the rounds where NTC are active. KNG is all over them. He is like white on rice or brown on brown rice.
Yeah, slows down again. Keeping that pace all the way down. Pulling that dial, spinning the dial all the way down to low.
Are you a white rice man or a brown rice man?
I don't really eat rice at the moment.
The correct answer is, Dan, you're a waste man. I got bars, man.
What about the Yukon gold potatoes, James?
Well, excuse me.
Yes. They are delicious.
I'm a man of potato.
But United looking to roll in onto this B-bomb side as they go down the slope. Oh, Bit turns away from the right angle. He had it, but the hesitation, the confusion. He was confounded, bewildered, bedazzled. The loaf's after them, James. The loaf is coming.
FNX. Oh, wow. Okay. And that will keep the T's contained, although it seems that the AWPs are looking to save. So FNX's presence here will secure the safety of those all-important sniper rifles. He's been sacrificed. He's the martyr. They will name a street after him. Maybe on that street they will sell potatoes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's funny, I was doing some sort of tourism around London recently, because I just never do that. And there's a street, you know, the street where there's a big bridge where next to Westminster Abbey and Westminster Palace and Big Ben and all that. I was like, oh, what is this street called? You know, because I didn't know. And I looked at it, and it has this big bridge, and it's called Bridge Street. I was like, well, it's okay. I was expecting something majestic, you know, but it's just actually just very accurate.
So I think one bridge is called King William Street or something. London Bridge, maybe. I don't remember, but it does vary. Bridge Street's a good start, though. I respect Bridge Street.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's one of the maybe it was the first bridge street in London, perhaps. That's how roads used to be. Oh, before we get into the history of roads, topic I'm sure you're all very excited about. KNG's got the AWP out there on Ali. And smoke goes down to prevent any further exploration from eUnited. But speaking of which, an expedition has been initiated by FNX towards Team Main. And that is quite a strong position to have as the CTs. If the Ts don't have this position and they want it later on, now they have to consider, okay, I need someone to trade for me. I need to have good spacing. I need maybe a flashbang. Or I need to just risk it and just pray that no one pushed it. It's become scary now. And so Relics will begin to push Ali, and they can find some solutions here.
40 seconds. Bit is almost alone. Phelps is in the back. I don't know what kind of angle he's holding. He's holding an angle for CT. He's almost he's expecting this rotation, and that's a tight angle, but it won't yield him a kill. But he can see the legs. He has warning. This is not a good spot for the T's. They try and go past fast, but they can't. The bomb is making its way in now, and Bit, he's shown too much leg, and he's been taken down. And that was a very key role. There's nobody to stop the flank, but FNX will have to be careful. There's Moose taken out at the back, leaving Ace and Dazzle. Ace has it all to do on his own because Dazzle's looking for that flank, but FNX is being really quiet. Oh, the positioning. Dazzle's just missed it. He's missed the information. Does he look back in time? Probably not. He won 80s. He's got a better weapon, and he will prevail.
That's so huge, isn't it? Now there's a player that survives in the upper positions that he can really just play the time so effectively from there. He doesn't even have to fight, just provide presence. Ace, though, got full HP, will be able to deal with Cello, and that might be it now. Faust is really far away. Oh, man. That frag should absolutely be happening with the UMP.
Whoop, there it is.
It's so awkward, though, with the UMP. It has a low rate of fire, and you know, when someone has their back turned to you and you don't get the dink straight away and then they spin around, it just feels, and you're 2-3 bullets into the spray, it does feel awkward.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what the spray pattern of a UMP is. I actually never, ever, ever pick a UMP. But I don't know if he started with the head. Someone can scroll back on YouTube and find out. Yeah. But I think if he started with the head, then yeah, that's what I was talking about on the previous map of Train. The CTs always get to that angle first. It's not an easy shot to hit though. If someone tries to jump past the angle.
Yeah, KNG starts with the head. Oh, he tries to get his RPK on. So RPK is turned off. Oof, that's a success, I suppose. From oh, wow, okay.
KNG's got the molly though. Can he get into a position to deploy the molly? Now, that just makes it easy for him to deploy the molly. But where is Dazzle? He's on the back of the... Yeah. If that went back trains, Dazzle's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
But there we go. The round continues. 3-on-3. FNX on a slow rotation. Once again, a slow flank. Moose up top. But he could get caught by KNG if he looks in the right angle. Maybe there's a smoke up there for the time being. There we go. Hello. And FNX goes down again. KNG and Cello remain. Cello spots Ace, takes him out of the sky, and now Moose with the molly. There's no smoke grenade here. Oh, yes, there is. It was deployed just as I didn't see the inventory. The spray is perfect, and KNG's not in position. He's not close enough. He's got to run away. Got to try and save his AWP, but he can't do that either. This is a landslide for eUnited in the first half.
Yeah, that's... Wait, was that a powerful fist bump or what? Do you see that? That fist bump. There's too much power in that man's hands. That was pretty crazy at the end there, and I guess it's just like desperation because there's like no kit. They just don't have a kit, so they just have to go for it instead of being able to do it alone. So
gamble, is the guy going to peek you from upper or lower when the smoke goes down? I guess KNG was lined up for upper and he came out lower. And now NTC, they're in trouble, man. They've got a bloody nose, and the referee's gone to the 8 count. At least here in this first half, but it's not over quite yet. At least the game isn't, but this round might be. Last round of the first half, Bit will get a kill, not the bomb carrier, but KNG is in position to do something, catching Relics with a Molotov in his hand, and now in a 2-on-2, the A site is compromised. However, Moose has made his way through Ivy. KNG is well protected, and there is the bomb. He's got the information. Wow. KNG, again, honestly, like, even though they've only got 4 rounds, it's like his impact has been really cool. They just haven't converted.
Yeah, he's been beast in this game. Wow, that was beautiful. Just the way that he just knows. He's just so convinced. There's just no single shred of hesitation. It's just 100% confidence in how he's predicted the outcome. He just sits and waits on this angle, on that angle, and just hits every single shot. No.
This is why all the drama online is just nonsense, man. Because you're just stopping people from playing good Counter-Strike. Like, I wanted to see that team do more, and maybe they were too hot-headed to go somewhere, but that's a journey I wanted to take. I wanted to have a seat on that bus. But we have a new journey with NTC, and they are journeying into the B bomb site, trying to do what they can, but the frags are almost all completely blue. The CT's the Popo. The sirens are wailing, and the bomb has been lost.
Oh dear, someone's going to have to make the jump. This is Phelps. Oh god, goodbye. That's not the start you wanted. And that's 12-4 for eUnited. That's the start they wanted. They will be loving this to bits. Maybe there is a 2-0 for eUnited on the cards, James. No one considered that, did they? No. No, they did not. Except maybe Frankie. Oh, she said 2-1, didn't she?
Yeah. She wasn't willing to go against the pundits. I respect that.
Well, she did go for eUnited, though. They went for NTC.
Did she? I don't think she did.
Oh, I thought she went for eUnited.
No. I don't think so. I think you're spreading lies. That's what I think. Oh, production said she did. Okay, I'm spreading lies then. I'm the liar.
Fake news.
I write the headlines. Round number 13 for NTC. Where are you at? Sorry, round number 13 for United. Where are you at, NTC? That's my question. Where art thou? I don't know how to say where are you in Portuguese.
Oh, where art thou doesn't actually mean where are you either. So
what does it mean
in
then?
Shakespeare, at least. Wasn't that like the misconception in Romeo and Juliet when?
I'm not talking about Shakespeare. I like talking in Old English in general.
And it meant like why are you here? Why are you here?
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's Old English, James. Of course, it's not going to make sense.
But why and where are two different words? What are you talking about? You're saying where means why. You're like, I know what you like. Why is Gamora?
Well, this is going pretty well here for United. Or it was. Phelps should not be able to do this with 32 points of health. Although Dapper is closing in here. And what is Phelps' read on the situation? Because he has a minute to play with, so he can go back. He doesn't have to commit into B, and that might be a problem because here comes Dapper around the corner. Very nice movement from Dapper. That really eliminates any possibility of double backing.
I feel like Freya will know the answer about where art thou. If I remember correctly, her studies might be relevant to this. So that means that she has to know the answer now. So it's on you, Freya.
I just remember thinking, like in Romeo and Juliet, that was a thing. Like a misconception about that line.
Until she tells us the correct information, you are
it makes sense.
You are the wise Gamora guy.
In the concept of the play at that point, it makes sense because he would get killed for visiting her or whatever. So, anyways, Izu in with the first kill, getting his KNG on with those decisive AWP kills early on. And NTC, they've got 3 players towards Ali. The bomb is alone around Pop Dog. So this is kind of a scary sort of positioning for them. Ali really needs to work. They are committing to it. Phelps is pushing forwards. What if the bomb goes down? But what if they can't even get past Ali at this point? There's a nice crossfire coming in from Relics and Dapper. Oh, this is not looking very good. Oh, that is a satisfying shot, isn't it?
Satisfying.
How do they deal with this? They're just walking into the crossfire. There's no grenades, nothing used here. Oh!
Damn, let's go.
Oh, he's in there.
Let's trigger them. So eUnited, bits now.
I love that.
Between eUnited and Game Point. All kinds of spam going on elsewhere.
Some people get really annoyed by that. When you shoot into bodies and stuff like that.
I just had a realization.
Yeah.
Like if Freya is eating frozen yogurt, then is she Freya? Freya.
I can't do this.
I think it's a legit question.
Is it though? Is it? We talk. I think we talk a lot of crap sometimes, James. But I think we have to. We got to respect the times when it really is very far-fetched. Okay, I think this is one of those times we've got to admit.
Look, man,
it's a bit far-fetched.
Bit saving his weapon. I had to buy some time for us.
Yeah, okay.
At the time, it was necessary. Oh, it was close, but he saved it. Thank someone for that. Okay, so they've got $3,000 per person. Now, do you all Hulk up, or do you drop some AKs for your teammates and buy some utility and be the cannon fodder? I don't know. I don't know what the right solution is here, but we've got KNG with the AK-47, we've got a scout, and a bunch of pistols.
He actually missed the body on the spray, and actually didn't crouch on top of the body either, so there was some work to be done there. Dapper, is he going to go for this? Double flashbang, let's go. Dapper, unable to do much, gets hit in the face with the grenades, not helpful. And that'll be that, just an exchange of utility there. The CT's a man ahead. Oh, not for much longer. Bits is going to take Moose's head and stick it on his wall.
Not over just yet, but can NTC get to these weapons? There are 2 weapons on the floor. I don't know if the CTs are in a position to protect them, But then, again, if they're not, then NTC could use that against the CTs and be like, I might go for this weapon, but I'm going to go over here instead. Scout has been collected. One man advantage. Where are these CTs? Dazzle has had his sparkles shut down. Dapper moving into the train. He spots many targets. That's a great spread from him. There's 2 players that remain, and it's all down to FNX, but he can't do it. He'll get popped in his face. And that is 16-4, a very surprising score for eUnited. Where have NTC gone?
I don't know, but I don't care. I mean, that to me was all about eUnited. They played so well. And I mean, just look at some of the individual performances. Like Dapper right at the end there as well. Credit where credit's due. These guys are on fire. They're really stepping up to the plate in this matchup. Really, they have so much to prove as a unit. They've been together for a while, so I'm impressed. I hope they can continue this form in this series.
Can NTC put out that fire on the next map? Find out after the break.
Since the beginning. Every map, every flag. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely, which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway for the love of the game.